Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the live. We're back. I've been under the weather a little bit. Mama on a budget. How are you? Welcome to the live. JDS. Welcome to the live. Melanie, welcome. Coming in, guys. Press the thumbs up. I've been really busy, but I want to continue to do my lives. I want to continue to help people channel grow. I want to continue for us to continue to motivate others to grow. Mama on a budget, I watched your last video, and part of this live, I'm going to respond to the tag that you tagged me in on Why Do I Garden? And I'm going to live. Angela, how are you? Welcome to the live. I'm going to tag someone in the live to do their video as well. You guys speak to each other and get acquainted. We become a little family in here. Share it out if you can on your Facebook, on your community tab if you have one. Let them know that we're live and we're coming together. So one of the questions, I was tagged by Mama on a Budget on Why Do I Garden? And the first question was, why do I garden? For me, garden is it's kind of sentimental to me because my father did a lot of gardening. As I was a kid, I remember him being in the garden, and I remember him having me out there help. And I never had an interest in it. I really preferred to go play, but he was like, "No, I'm gonna show you how to garden." So I did it because my father wanted me to. But now that I'm older, there was so many things I can remember my father telling me as a kid about gardening. And it's a lot of things that I just didn't pay attention to that I wish I would have today because I love gardening. I don't force my children to get into it, but my grandkids, they naturally want to know about gardening, which is great. So that's one of the reasons why I garden. And also, it gives me a sense of accomplishment. Bear Fruit Gardener, welcome to the live. How are you? It gives me a sense of accomplishment. Back in the woods, welcome to the live. How are you? So that's why I garden. For me, I can control what I put in my body. I really want to do a lifestyle change as far as my health, and a part of that, Garden City Food Forest. How are you? I gotta ask you something about that last video you put up. I need to know where you got that plant from. I'm gonna connect with you. I'm gonna go back on your video because I'm interested in growing that. Welcome to the live. If you just got in here, please give my live a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. Okay, so that's why I garden, because it's really a sense of accomplishment. A lot of the fruit nowadays, I don't know how they're preserving the fruit. I don't know what pesticides they're putting on it. It's lasting a little bit too long than the average fruit that I know should last long. And you just really don't want to be putting that in your body. Now, think about this. For example, my grandson wanted a Happy Meal from McDonald's. He got apple slices instead of the yogurt. He left one of the apple slices on my back seat in his booster seat. That was like 2 days ago. That apple slice was still perfect. Now, if you cut into a regular apple, once that oxygen hit it, it started to turn brown within minutes. The same thing with a potato. You know, I used to have to put it in the water to stop it from turning its color. So it's like I don't know how they're preserving the foods. I don't know what they're putting in it. We don't know what they're spraying. So that's why I like to garden. And then there's other things that don't have a long shelf life. So you're not going to find them in the grocery store. For example, figs. You'll find them in the grocery store, but they're not going to be there long. And if they are there long, they're no good. So that doesn't have a long shelf life. So that's something that you might want to grow yourself. So that's one of the reasons why I garden. The second question was, how long have I been gardening? I've been gardening for at least 10 years. On YouTube, it might be a little bit longer than that. I'm not really sure, but I've been gardening for quite a while. What do I grow? In my garden, you can pretty much see a little bit of everything. Next year, I want to step my game up a little bit and start to challenge myself on some things that I haven't grown before. Some of the brassicas I haven't grown before, like I've never grown broccoli before. I want to try to challenge myself with broccoli. I really don't want to get into the squash, especially after watching one of our YouTubers video about the different beetles, squash bugs, beetles that can kind of tear your garden up. I don't really want to get into that, and then I don't eat a lot of squash like that. But there are some things that I am interested in growing next year that I see in you guys' garden that really got me interested, like bok choy. Never had bok choy before. I went to the market, bought some bok choy. I YouTubed it to see how you cook it. I love it. I absolutely love it. So that's something that I would like to grow in my garden next year. The fruit, I don't know if it's a tree or a bush that Garden City has. I've never tasted, never heard of it, but I'm interested in it. I'm going to get with her and try to find out more information about that particular fruit tree or bush and see if I could get my hands on one and start growing that. A lot of it is high in antioxidants, and those are things that we need in our body. So different types of fruit, I do want to get into it, mainly if I get this property behind me where I can, sea berries, yes, sea berries, Garden City, behind me. If I could get that property and I can get that land laid out the way I want to, it's really on and popping. And this will be an investment not just for me but for my family as well. And that's something that we have to, look into. Making investments like that, not just investments in our home, but investments in our health. Because once your health gets bad from eating all these fatty foods that we eat, we have to take a different approach with it, and that's what I want to do. Let me look at some of the comments. Bear fruit. And when I tried it, it was delicious. But the key thing, bear fruit, that I didn't know it was so many varieties of bok choy. There's a lot of different varieties of bok choy. And I didn't even know that. So it's a lot of of different things out here that we don't know. Because you guys will be amazed. You talk about the figs, it's over 400 different variety of figs. And that's crazy. I got in my backyard 30 different varieties. So 400 different variety, over 400 different varieties of figs. Thank you. Back in the woods. I really want to purchase this land. It's just a lot. They're tearing the house down, and they normally sell the side lots to the person close to it. So I'm hoping by it being behind me, I can get it, and I'll extend my garden all the way out. So thank you. Working with the city is kind of a challenge here, so I'm gonna try to do my best to stay on top of that. Okay, Garden City, I'm gonna check them out because I'm definitely interested in I could probably look the information up when I go online. Shaniqua Smith, welcome to the live. I think I pronounced your name right. Welcome. If you guys are just coming in, please give the live a thumbs up. Let's see. My next question for Mama on a Budget tag was, what is my favorite thing to grow? Sugar baby watermelons. It's my favorite thing to grow. I didn't grow them last year, and I was really kind of sick about not growing them last year, but I did get them in this year. Also, Crimson Spireless Okra. It was the first time that I grew that last year, and that's going to be something that will always be in my garden. I really enjoy growing it. It's productive, and it's also delicious right out the garden fresh. You don't even have to cook it. You can just eat it raw. So those two things will always be in my garden, of course, and my fruit trees that I have. And last but not least, the question is, why do I YouTube about it? Which is a very good question. I YouTube about it because I'm a sharer. I like to share knowledge. I like to share sales, deals. If I can help somebody else just by telling them what I know, I feel like that's a blessing. And if somebody can help me out, just like just now, Garden City, she told me where she get a plant. She didn't hide it. She didn't say, well, I'll tell you later. Right there. She put it down on where I got it, just where you can go. That just share for everybody. You don't have to be secretive in everything. And even with the YouTube, we share helping people grow. Like you guys are coming in, you're networking, you get to know each other. Half of you guys' channel is starting to grow a little bit more. You might pick up 5 or 6 people. That's called just sharing, networking. If I could show you how to network, and then you could show somebody else, or I could show you how to grow a peach tree, and you could show somebody else. We all know. Bear Fruit, she always say I'm a beginning gardener. I'm still learning. True enough. But the fact that you are gardening, and you are on YouTube, and you're showing people what you're doing, the accomplishments that you're making in your garden, and maybe even some of the failures, because I'm still making failures in my garden. So that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to help each other, and we're supposed to each one teach one. So that's why I like to do it on YouTube, because it's a platform for me to share what's going on, even with ideas. If it's not even the garden idea, it could be some of the decorating ideas or how to build, the building ideas. So that's why I do it. Let me look at some of the comments. And that is for Mama on a Budget. Let me tag 3 people in this live. And I'll put the questions in the description box after the live. And then I want you to put a video up. It don't have to be a live, but just a video because you've been tagged by the Backyard Gardener on why you garden. So let's see. And some of you might have already done this tag. My favorite figs is Chicago Hardy and Cadota. Cadota is a honey fig. Chicago Hardy is like a berry fig. And that's my favorite. I have both those figs in my garden. So, actually, I got about 3 or 4 Chicago Hardys in my garden. But this year, Smith, my figs is not doing too well because our weather is still cool. Here in Michigan, we haven't even hit the 80s yet. And when you're growing figs, you're going to need heat to get your buds popping out and to get your figs to growing. So I haven't seen any. It's still not too late because for most of my Chicago Hardy, it takes about 95 to 100 days for that fruit to mature once it's set. So for my Chicago Hardy, I still got time. Probably my Cadota as well, but a lot of my other ones, like my Italianate 258, probably won't have a growing season. My Fredo Prado, I won't have enough season for that. So if they come in, unless I relocate them to the greenhouse to extend the season, which what I will probably do. I don't know what kind of fig harvest I'm going to have this year. Let's see. DD Pharmacy, welcome to the live. Dojo Allotment, welcome to the live. If you guys coming in, please smash that thumbs up button. It helps me out a lot. We got 10 people in the building, 13 thumbs up. Make sure you smash the button. Also, I want to try to go live at least for this week. I need to go live every day this week. And I'm going to do different times. So I'll be available for an hour to 2 hours, different times. I always give it 30. You want to come on in and we can talk garden or whatever, that's fine. But for this week, I will be going live Monday through Friday. I would have did it sooner, but my allergies have been messing up. That's why my voice sounds so raspy. And I had a real bad allergy thing going on. Okay, Bear Fruit just asked me a question. If I can find it. Do I have certain techniques on how to get my figs to fruit? I don't have, only technique that I have is pinching. And that's when I pinch off the top, topping them off, and that's going to stop the upward growth, and it'll start pushing out figs. That's the only technique that I know of that I use, but I'm sure there's other techniques, but if they are, I'm not aware of it. But I do at a certain time, once my tree, because all of mine I try to form in the trees. I got one that's formed like a bush. I'll pinch the top off to stop it from continue growing up, and it'll start popping out figs. And with pinching, you want to do that at a certain time of year. You want to do that in the beginning. So if you have a young tree like you have, Bear Fruit, where it's just getting up, if you were to go out there and pinch that fig, you'll get maybe 1 or 2 figs, but it's going to slow down the growth of your tree. I honestly wouldn't expect any fruit off your trees this year. I will focus on growth, getting it to a certain height, getting it to a certain level, and then next year, that's when you really should be expecting your figs. The trees that I have out here now, over on my platform, those are 2 to 3 year old trees. So I'm expecting something from these trees. The ones that I have behind my house that I did the cuttings from this fall, I'm not I'm not expecting anything, and even if it did come on there, I'll pop it off because I want my tree. I wanted to give it a little bit more height. So you don't want to try to have them fruit too quick for you, even with your fig trees, and they're gonna grow pretty good. They're gonna grow fast once that heat get on them, and you're giving them the fertilizer. It will grow. Figs are very vigorous and they grow fast, but you want to make sure that you letting the roots get established in the ground or in a pot. You want to make sure by you having them in a pot, you have a better chance, to me, of those roots getting established because it's in a restricted area. Once you put it in the ground, your roots is going to grow on out and grow, and it's just going to focus on growing in the ground and not so much starting the fruit. Because you got people that might say, well, I had a fig tree that I planted 4 years ago and never got fruit. Is it in the ground? Yeah. And that's pretty much because it's spreading out. So, Supreme Family Garden, welcome to the live. How are you? So those are some of the things I think you should look for, bear fruit. This year, trying to get your tree to get established and strong and healthy. Then next year, it'll start to fruit for you. Because it's not really tough. Celeste Ness, welcome to the live. How are you? Celeste, I need to do something for you. There you go. All right. So, those are some things that you might want to take into consideration, bear fruit. Let's see what else we have. Let me go into the comments. Is there anybody else? Celeste, you're growing fig trees as well, aren't you? You have a fig plant, you and Supreme? I think both of you all have figs. Just bought your first. What kind of fig tree did you buy, Celeste? Do you know the variety? Supreme, you got them in the ground, Supreme. You say you got 10 and not one damn fig. Well, I got about at least 25, 30, and I haven't seen a fig this year, and it's only because our weather is so bold, but it's hot where you at. So you definitely should be getting them. Olympia, that's a really good variety, and it's a hardy variety too. I think it has a breather crop on the Olympia fig. All three of those bear fruit are very hardy for your zone. By you being in 6B, those are a good selection that you have because they're hardy for your zone, your growing zone. DD Pharmacy. What zone are you in, DD? She has 2 Chicago Hardies and 1 brown turkey. Supreme say he think Lad Farmer put a jinx on his fig tree. No, he probably didn't, but I am envious of those LSU goals. I have actually, this is my second LSU goal, and my first LSU goal, excuse me, my first LSU goal died. I don't know what happened to it, but this one, is doing pretty good, but I just started it from a cutting this past winter, so I don't expect any fruit from it. And I have Celeste, LSU Gold, Smith. Smith is a really good fig too, delicious fig, and it's very vigorous. You get a lot of fruit out of Smith. Um, Cadota is a very good fig as well, especially for like the southern climates. Those are excellent figs. Then you have My Family Garden. How are you? Welcome to the live. Then you have some figs are not good in certain climates because of the humidity. They'll start to actually split on you. So knowing your figs, like, because the LSU grows great for one climate, it might not do great for another climate. And that's with all figs. Even with a Chicago Hardy, it might not do so great for another climate, but it'll do great in a northern climate. So you have to take that into consideration too, and kind of learn the fig. Like in my climate, I know I can grow it, but it'll be so much babying and pampering that I would have to do to a Black Madeira. And then our growing season is not long enough for it even to reach maturity. So therefore, I have to put it in the greenhouse early to get it going early, and keep it in the greenhouse late just to harvest fruit. It's not worth it to me. I mean, I really want to try Black Madeira, but it's not for my area. It's just not. Like, half the figs I got out there is not for my area. That's why I have to bring them in and overwinter them for the growing season in the wintertime. I normally bear fruit for my figs. I normally just give them fish emulsion, not the 511. That's what I give it to them. Every time it look like it needs to be fed. When my leaves starting to look not so deep green, and I got another fertilizer that I'm gonna try this year. It's just nitrogen, and that's pretty much it. I don't really do a lot because they can pretty much maintain themselves. You don't really have to keep fertilizing them. Like, when you did your last video, I saw your fig. You were showing something else, but I saw your fig, and it looked pretty healthy to me. Like, because sometimes you can overdo it, where you putting so much nitrogen, it's just growing. It's not even fruiting, because you just keep putting the nitrogen in it. So once you feed it, you just let it be. But the only thing I've ever used on my fig trees were fish fertilizer. You don't have to do it all the time. Maybe like once every 2-3 weeks. Your tree, and that's even with your fruit tree. Your tree will tell you that it needs something. When those leaves start looking all funny and it's light green instead of a super dark green, it's telling you that, hey, I'm lacking something. Whether it's nitrogen, potassium, or whatever, your tree is going to talk to you. Your plants is going to talk to you. It's going to tell you, especially with cucumber plants. At the end of the season, my cucumber plants, the vines always start turning yellow. And a lot of that is because, okay, it's dying off. It's the end of the season, but a lot of that is because it needs magnesium. And it's asking for that because they're heavy feeders. Just like your watermelon plant, you have to constantly give it nitrogen. Like last time I grow my sugar babies, I had some rabbit manure, which is high in nitrogen. And I fed it with that. and it kept the plant going. But once I backed off, my plant started dying out, and I'm like, well, why is my leaves turning? They were turning because all of that fruit that it's producing is sucking up the nutrients. So I have to keep feeding them. That's why they say watermelon are heavy feeders. Supreme, you're growing watermelons. What are you feeding your watermelons this year? I don't use coffee grinds in my figs. I'm not sure if that's what you were asking, Bearfew. I don't use coffee grinds in my figs. Actually, I wasn't using coffee grinds until maybe last year. And the only thing I've really used them in was my blueberries. But I do make a compost tea. Okay. And that's great too, Supreme. I do make a compost tea, which is basically, it's called Boogie Brew, because I don't have a compost here. And I don't want one here, but once I get my land extended, I'll start a compost pile. Because if I had, I think from the back of my house to the back gate, it might be 40 feet. That's a little too close for a compost pile for me to be at my house, because compost sometimes draw rodents, all the time draw rodents, and I'm scared of them. That's why I don't even know half the time how I garden, because I'm scared of a lot of the bugs that's out there. I'm scared of the worms. I'll deal with them because they're beneficial. I'll deal with a ladybug. I'll deal with a worm. I'll deal with a praying mantis. I even tried to catch some praying mantis nests to bring to my garden. But some of that stuff that I be seeing in the ground, them night crawlers, I can't. So, I mean, that's just me. I'm just scary like that with bugs. But my grandson, he likes playing with them. Big rats and puffs. Yeah. And that's why I don't want a compost bin in my yard right now like that. I would love to have one. Don't get me wrong, but it's too close to my house. Now, once I get that lot, we can compost, because I'm not going in that forest until somebody is out there with me anyway. Because we do have possums, we have raccoons, we have rats, we have everything. And I'm not even trying. That's why I haven't really been putting up a lot of videos since I got the tree cut down. Over here, my gate is down. Now, I know a gate is not going to stop a possum, a rat, or a raccoon, but for my peace of mind, it gives me a little barrier to go on and get out the way, or something to look for. It's just wide open. So they did come yesterday and grind the stump up. And I'm thankful they left all the wood chips. I told them they could leave all of that, but I gotta hurry up and get that stuff up and put it where it needs to go, and put my fence back up, because I feel like, and it may sound weird to some of you guys, I feel like my peace is just leaving out of my garden with that open area. Like, my garden is my sanctuary. That's where I sit back and I relax. But we got rabbits too. I'm scared of those too. Y'all be like, oh, that's such a cute little bunny. I am scared of it, because I went out in my garden, I opened my little garden gate, and a little rabbit just shot across my foot. It was a baby rabbit. It wasn't no bigger than this. But it scared the hell out of me. And it was enough for me to just close the gate back and go in the house and try it again another day. So, yeah, I'm scared of rodents. Probably so. No, garden. It's another guy that was in here. My family garden. Do your allotment was in here. Happy Father's Day also to all the fathers. And I appreciate you guys chiming in and coming in. Thank you so much. Bearfruit says okay. I mean, Bearfruit, when you had that rabbit in your backyard, I mean, you probably thought it was cute, but I just ain't finna, I can't. I told you I had a bad childhood experience with rabbits, so. And I'm not fond of possums. Raccoons, I don't think they're cute. I don't like them. You can lay there and play dead if you want to. I'm not it. I don't care for rodents. I can't. And that's probably why I can't. As much as I want that country living as far as the solitude and not having to deal with the everyday hustle and bustle that you got in the city, that's the one downfall is dealing with all the elements that's out there. I can't. So to all the fathers, happy Father's Day. Rabbits are cute, but they're destructive too. Those rabbits will munch out your whole garden. So they're cute, but they're destructive. Possums and raccoons, yeah, they will attack you. But those rabbits and deers is cute too. But a deer will munch down every tree you got. I don't have deer problems, but and I'm thankful for it. But some of the gardeners here in Michigan, they do have deer problems. So I mean, I think they're cute. I ain't trying to be rubbing on one like he a puppy or nothing, but I think they're cute. See, Celeste have deers and they ate all her peaches. That's what they do. Like they'll just come in and now I have property up north in Roscommon, Michigan, where my cabin is now. The deers, if you leave a bowl of apples on the porch, they'll come. And those deers up north are beautiful. I mean, just shiny, well taken. I mean, they're cute too, but they're not as cute as the ones, nice looking as the ones up there. But they're destructive. So half of the things, groundhogs, DD Pharmacy said groundhogs are the worst. Now, we don't have groundhog problems in the city. But where I take my son to camp, them boys be popping up out the ground and I think they call moles. Those things with the big clawy hands and the little bitty arms. Hold on, I'm trying to make myself back. Get myself back.